Every second, petabytes of data cycle through server networks. Modern generative AI processes human knowledge, identifying patterns across billions of variables in milliseconds. This technology operates as a massive accelerant. It removes the friction from repetitive tasks and calculates solutions to complex logistical and scientific problems at speeds that outpace human manual processing. This convenience creates a specific cognitive trap for the user. Outsourcing our thinking to an algorithm risks a trade-off in intellectual agency. As we rely on automated outputs, we transition toward passive consumption, allowing the machine to determine what is accurate, what is significant, and what to produce. A generative AI functions as a probability engine rather than a thinking entity. It predicts the next most likely element in a sequence, based on statistical likelihood, operating without a conceptual grasp of meaning or truth. The machine lacks lived experience to inform its responses, and it carries zero accountability for the real-world outcomes of the text it generates. Directing this technology effectively requires us to look backward through history. Over 4 millennia, humanity has developed the specific capacities, the skills of judgment and validation, necessary to steer these tools toward productive ends. 4,000 years ago, early civilizations began codifying the principles of human moral philosophy. In ancient Egypt, the minister Ptah-hotep documented some of the earliest instructions on ethics. He argued that honorable conduct requires an internal guard against malice. Because an algorithm cannot police its own intent, the human user must set the firm ethical boundaries for its use. The philosopher Mencius later developed frameworks for maintaining a firm sense of identity. While a machine can mimic any persona or tone on demand, the person operating it must remain anchored in their own distinct purpose to avoid being redirected by the tool. Aristotle identified that effective communication relies on more than just logical proof. He observed that true persuasion requires the character of the speaker and an authentic emotional connection with the audience, elements a machine cannot replicate. A computer can generate a high volume of options, many of them useless. The Roman statesman Cicero emphasized the necessity of prudence, the practical judgment required to sort through options and identify the wisest course of action. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned that a disordered spirit comes from constant distraction and restlessness. He argued that understanding requires us to disconnect from superficial summaries and engage in the sustained effort of deep, independent work. These ancient perspectives established the intellectual parameters of human agency. Today, they serve as the necessary constraints to keep modern AI functioning as a tool rather than a replacement. During the Enlightenment, human capability was further defined by a rigorous focus on scientific inquiry and intellectual exploration. René Descartes viewed wonder as the primary passion, driving the need to ask fundamental questions. To work effectively with AI, we must apply this level of curiosity rather than accepting the first answer provided. This diagram provides a framework for multi-directional inquiry, treating the machine's initial output as a starting coordinate. Human curiosity must push outward in every direction, interrogating the history of an idea, its core theory, and its practical applications to ensure comprehensive understanding. To prevent our work from becoming generic, we rely on the creative synthesis demonstrated by authors like Phillis Wheatley. The logician Bertrand Russell insisted that it is undesirable to believe a proposition when there is no ground for supposing it true. This skeptical methodology is necessary to verify AI outputs through cross-referencing and evidence tracking. Finally, the scholar Okakura Kakuzo represented the resilient spirit required for adaptability. As technology shifts, we must maintain the ability to navigate these changes without losing our central purpose. Managing the complexities of the modern digital landscape relies on the social, critical, and adaptable nature of the human mind. This timeline reveals a consistent foundation. Across different eras and cultures, history's greatest minds were identifying the same essential human capabilities. Artificial intelligence will only continue to exponentially expand its massive processing scale, integrating into our daily lives at an increasing pace. Despite its scale, the machine lacks the uncomputable remainder. It cannot possess wisdom, and it bears no moral responsibility for the consequences it creates. The future belongs to those who apply these historical principles to their work, remaining the human in charge of the machine.